Welcome back to another episode of Harder Styles with Miia Solar. Harder Styles with Miia Solar is your ultimate backstage pass into the world of harder styles. The show will share you the best tips, tell you stories you won't hear anywhere else, and bring you exclusive 30-minute guest mixes. You can catch the show live on Twitch every second Thursday, starting at 8 p.m. Finnish time. Can't join the live broadcast? Don't worry, all the episodes will also be available afterwards on YouTube. Today we are going to explore the world of DJing, how to get started, how to stand out, and how to make every day feel like New Music Friday. My name is Miia Solar and I will be your host through this journey of harder styles. Today I'm thrilled to have a guest who's been bringing us the best new music. Welcome to the show, Alex Havelinna.
Thank you very much. Honored to be here.
How are you doing?
I'm really good. I'm actually on a holiday, so It's pretty nice at this moment. I'm getting a lot of rest and fresh here, at least should be.
Yeah. How long will you be on a holiday?
I'll be on a holiday until the turning of June.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'm actually only 3 days at work, and then I'm back on holiday. So.
Nice.
2 weeks and 2 weeks.
That's nice. Yeah. That's nice. Let's tell a little bit to you about Aggressive Aesthetic. You've been part of the scene for quite some time already and have brought joy to listeners with your mixtapes on SoundCloud. Your mixes have been featured on Finland's national radio channel Yle X, on DJ Orion's show, and you've performed at some of the biggest events in Finland, such as Hard Voltage Infinity and Utopia Festival. You are also known for your SoundCloud mixtape series, where you consistently showcase the freshest new music to your audience. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's rewind a bit and go back to where it all began. How did your journey into hardstyle music begin?
Well, before hardstyle, I was a really avid EDM listener.
Yeah.
And we all have the EDM phase, at least.
Yeah,
people
I
of
had
our
to.
age. Yeah, people of our age.
Yeah.
And I was a big EDM head, especially listening to progressive house and stuff like that. And even then, I was really trying to dig, the depths of YouTube and such, and trying to find new music.
Yeah.
And just someday, maybe, was it 2014, 15, even 13, YouTube gives you these, recommendations of the next song to play, because I didn't use any Spotify or such back then. YouTube just gave me like recommendations. I don't know if I clicked it or if it just like auto played into the next one. And if I remember correctly, it was either Refusion or Cyber.
Ooh.
Like my first ever touch to like hardstyle world was Rawphoric hardstyle.
Really?
And that's where it all began. I was like, okay, what is this? This is different. I started to listen to it. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like instant chills, instant goosebumps. It was like instantly like love at first sight, basically.
Did you used to listen to Rawphoric Hardstyler's YouTube channel? Because that's the classic one.
Yeah. Like, I think the first songs that I did listen were like from other Dirty Works or Scan Tracks or such. But really soon after I found out that there's such a thing as Rawphoric Hardstyle, I really, went deeper and found the channel Rawphoric Hardstyles. That's
the channel. And by the way, I think there's this myth that the person behind the channel is Finnish.
Yeah, I've heard it too, yeah.
But does somebody know who the person is?
Let us know. We need to thank him or her.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But if you know, please let me know. I would like to interview, because would be cool to.
Yeah, actually, would be a huge one. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the place where I found hardstyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a real legend.
Yep.
What was the first hardstyle event you attended, and what was the experience like?
Yeah, actually I had to, start to search my phone and my memories from like Snapchat and such to find like which was it, because of course it had to be like when I was 18. And I think my first one was like Weekend 2016.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like properly hardstyle, but there were like hardstyle stages, and I did see some guests there. I remember Kuhn and the Tweakers, let's say, back then. And I think I also had to search Club Life's, past events lists.
Yeah.
And I found out that my first event was in March 2017, and that was Headhunters.
That's cool.
At, what was it now in Camp?
Circus.
Yeah, back at the old circus. Great place, yeah. Iconic.
But yeah, Weekend Festival is the great place to go, for example, if you are underage, because...
True.
But it's...
It should
has
be.
changed.
Yeah, nowadays it's not
Yeah,
anymore.
that's true.
Yeah.
So no parties at all, I think, if you are underage and
At
you
this
would like
moment,
to
maybe,
hear
yeah.
hardstyle. Because I remember my first weekend festival because I was underage, and that was the first place I
Yeah.
ever heard hardstyle, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
so cool. I was like, yeah,
Yeah, and those places.
bless you, weekend festival.
Yeah, and those places are really needed because people don't kind of, or maybe it's not that easy to kind of listen to different genres if you don't know about them. But if you're at a festival that plays multiple genres, it's much easier to be like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
And because you're already there, so why not listen to it for a
Yep.
second?
And in my opinion, there should be more parties where like hardstyle is also being a genre, because like there's a lot of parties with techno, house,
Yeah.
drum and bass, but not hardstyle.
Yeah.
I don't understand why hardstyle is not like suitable for those events.
Yeah.
Because it would be cool to
It would be, yeah.
explore more genres.
Yeah.
But what made you want to start DJing?
This was like the time of coronavirus. Like coronavirus started in 2019, so I actually looked at my email list because like when I started to buy songs, it was in 2020 that I was like, because for years before that I was really invested, really interested in hardstyle, and I like started to kind of dig deep into hardstyle and started to seek for older songs because I wanted to know everything about this genre, everything about its past and stuff. So I went really deep, and then I was like, okay, this listening stuff, this ain't it anymore. I need some more, and I need to kind of enjoy it more, maybe kind of give some more credit to it and such. And then I heard that my friend had this small deck, maybe the DDJ 400 or 200, the
classic,
smallest one.
classic.
Yeah, he had that one, and we were both listening to hardstyle at that time. I was like, hey, bring it over, let's play something. And I just started trying it. I was like, okay, this is nice. And then I ordered my first deck, and my first deck, which is also the one I currently have, FLX6, it arrived in, I think, January 2021. But already in 2020 I started buying songs.
Yeah.
Because
You were preparing.
yeah, and I wanted to like honor the songs more, honor the artists more, because I was so in love with the genre and the music.
That's lovely, because I don't know if people like buy tracks if they are not a DJs.
Yeah, I think it's really rare.
Maybe it was back in the days when they used to transform the tracks
Yeah.
to.
But I think that was more like
what is was it iPad or the
iPod.
iPod?
Yeah.
iPad is the tablet. Yeah.
Yeah.
iPod. Yeah.
But I think like back then people used LimeWire or such, so they were more pirating. But maybe some people bought them if they had the money. Yeah.
How would you describe your sound to someone who hasn't been hearing you play? What is your sound and what styles you love to play?
You mean my DJing sound?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been varying a lot, especially if you listen to me live or from SoundCloud mixes. But especially nowadays, I identify myself as a Rawphoric DJ. So that kind of means, or at least I think, that it kind of consists of euphoric hardstyle, melodic hardstyle, and some melodic raw also, or Rawphoric. Depends on what you name it.
Could you tell us a couple of examples of your favorite artist at the moment?
Well, Cyber is always number one because that's where like it all began, and his sound is like unmatchable. He's like the god of euphoric hardstyle and hardstyle in general. He's been around for ages, and he's still my number one of all time. And nowadays, actually, Diesel has been climbing really high on my list because he's been raw artist for a while, but as the raw sound has kind of, I think it has come to a point where everything starts to sound like pretty much the same, or at least the ideas are rarer. So the sound starts to be like, or at least many artists sound the same.
Yeah.
So Diesel has kind of, I don't know if it's regression, but he has kind of went back to the roots of hardstyle, which is melodies.
Yeah.
And the way he's kind of combining those two, like the raw kicks and the really raw feeling. Like the melodies, it's like the soul-wrenching kind of harmonies and stuff. They're like, oh my goodness.
Will you be playing Diesel today?
Yes, I will.
Okay. We will let you know when there's Diesel playing, so you know what we are talking about. What about your first bookings? Was there a turning point that helped people start noticing you?
My first bookings, well, that really depends on what you call a booking, because we actually talked about this before live, and everyone starts somewhere.
Yep.
And for me, especially like during Corona times, I've always been in this DJ Orion, the guy who's at Ylex Friday nights. He built this community in WhatsApp, these WhatsApp groups, and we started to have these gatherings, especially during Corona times. And they're like another family to me. Shout out DJ Orion and Revi Pallerot. What's up? They really built this kind of community, like especially during those times when we didn't have any events. We wanted to see each other and enjoy the music, which wasn't played anywhere.
Yeah.
So I can actually check, I have these memos here, but my first event that I played in was Tampere Rave. It was a private UG party with those guys. It was in...
Was that the one that they filmed also? Because if I remember right, you were at some gig that they filmed it, like recorded on video.
That's in Twitch, and that's actually my other, like if you call it a first proper one.
Yeah.
But the first one was in 2021, I think.
Yeah.
It was in summer 2021. It was just a private event. Went there, they were like, okay, who's wanting to play? Who's wanting to DJ? I was like, yeah, sign me in. And I played my first set there, went really well, and I was like enamored of the experience of being a DJ and playing my tunes, especially when the people were really enjoying it. It wasn't a big party, it was like maybe 50 people, but all of them were like really good. That was really nice experience. And after that, I, did my SoundCloud series, but then these friends of mine had this Karage Live thing, especially during the Corona times. That was really big. They actually had like thousands of watchers in Twitch at that time, especially when the bars went open and people wanted to listen to the music.
Yeah.
They invited me to their show when actually DJ Orion was there also, so I got to meet my hero also. That was really nice. That was kind of my first booking.
Yeah.
But it was the same year, 2021, I guess, when they invited me to... No, 2022. It was in 2022, July. My friends. So this is why the scene and getting to DJ is a bit more complicated than it may look. But my friends had this kind of festival for all different types of music in July at this kind of field in middle of nowhere in Varsinais-Suomi, Salo.
Oh, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And they invited me there to play, and I actually got to be the ending artists of the 2 days festival.
That's cool.
And that was like my first one that I got paid, like real money. Yeah. So, but I want to tell you, like, people that are starting as DJs, the first bookings are always gonna be like those that you're gonna have to push yourself out there. So you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. Would you say that the bookings were the turning points for you that helped people start noticing you, or what would you say?
Yeah, if you think about like people noticing me, those especially were the thing. But I think the biggest part was like networking, and especially at the DJ Orion thing when I had the Ylex guest mix at DJ Orion show, and the community itself is like 500 people.
Oh, big!
Yeah,
that's huge.
It is huge. It's actually even more nowadays, I think. But
that's huge.
But of course, not all of them are gonna be at the events and at the gatherings. But like doing my own thing, playing my own mixes, and putting them out there, and like sharing them to these groups where people can be like listening, or just letting them know that, hey, if you want to listen like to this kind of music, I have this profile, go check it out.
Yeah.
So it's really much about the networking.
Yeah, community is really important. Were there any challenges you faced in the beginning of your career? What would you say?
I think the beginning actually was smoother than I thought, and I think it was smoother than like nowadays. And back then, because there were no events or such, there were no pressure. It was only like me, my deck, my music, my vision. I only like recorded the mixes, put them out there, and let people enjoy them, and people really did enjoy them. And then I got the bookings, and it just like started to fall like a snowball down the hill. Yeah. It got bigger, and I at some point in 2022, I think I had almost a gig per month, and that was like the peak for me.
But that's like really much.
Yeah, it is.
Because
Yeah.
in Finland, like, there were no parties.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's the highest you can get,
Yeah.
basically. Looking back, could you tell us one moment from your career that you were like, wow, is this really happening?
Well, that's really easy because we were at that moment. It was in Hard Voltage Infinity in 2023. Yeah.
Yeah.
We played back to back at this. What was it called? The place.
Tullihuone, pakkahuone.
Pakkahuone, yeah.
Pakkahuone.
Pakkahuone, tullisali, anything. Something along those lines. And even though we were like the second act, and we played, of course, we played before Future Noise and we got to shake his hands and stuff. That's amazing. But like just the sheer amount of people at that stage of the night, it was really amazing. And like we both enjoyed even making the set so much that like witnessing it like together on stage and playing our favorite tunes was like
We nailed it.
it was really nice, really lovely.
That's one memory that I carry in my heart.
Yeah,
Like
it
was
unreal.
such an amazing feeling.
Yeah,
it
unreal.
was unreal.
Yeah,
it was, and that's actually I think that's I haven't played back to back since that.
Nice.
So that was my first back to back ever, and it's the last one.
Okay.
So far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does the name aggressive aesthetic come from?
Yeah.
What would you say? Because this is interesting question, because behind a name there's always a story.
It is, yeah. It was also at the time when I bought my first deck, and of course, when I wanted to, record these mixes, I needed to release them with some name. I didn't want to be my own name. That would be a bit silly, even though some people do it. And I started to think like, even back then, even though I played like euphoric mixes, my like passion really was in the raw and the euphoric sides of it. And when I do my sets, even nowadays, the structure is always from like euphoric, these smooth, easy, beautiful sounds to this raw energy. So I started to think like, how could I depict my kind of style with my name? And so I started to think like, okay, the kicks are aggressive and the vibe is aggressive, but there's also this kind of beauty behind it, and especially in the melodies. So I started to think like, okay, there's some aestheticism behind it. So then I was like, okay, aggressive aesthetic, that could be it. Of course, I tried it different ways multiple times, and then I was like, okay, that shall do it, and that's fine.
That's a good name.
That's how aggressive aesthetic started.
Soon you will hear how it represents your sound, because it's the perfect fit, I would say. You've been running your own mixtape series on SoundCloud, and for the audience, mixtapes are a great way to find new music and new artists. And for the artists, mixtapes are a great way to represent your own style as a DJ and great way to start building your fan base. What inspired you to start doing your own series?
Well, I think it all came down to the fact that I love the music so much, and especially the series I started with, which was Melody of the Month, which actually, shout out to Janna, she did the visuals, she did the thumbnails for it, and she was also like giving me some ideas with the series, and we actually had a twist off. You don't remember?
I remember the visuals, but yeah.
But we also had the idea of like, was it Mayhem of the Month?
Yeah, Mayhem of the Month. I remember that they were like these a little creepy. these thumbnails. They were scary. The visuals.
Yeah. And that was also a nice idea, but then I just like figured out that I don't have the time to do everything, so just had to scrap one and focus on the one thing. But I started with the Melody of the Month, and it was more about, me wanting to record gather some songs that represented something to me, that, get a feeling out of me that were really lovely. And they were all like, the Melody of the Month was most about finding the songs of that month, the past month, that were released in, let's say, January. Like all the melodic and euphoric releases from January, I put them together in a smart kind of manner and combined a set of them, and that's it. And that's also like a soundtrack that I like to listen, and it seemed like other people like to listen to it too. So yeah.
What do you think makes a good mixtape stand out from the rest?
Well, there are as many likings as there are people, so it's really hard to tell like subjectively. But I think a good mixtape has some structure. It has a clear cut way of progression.
Yep.
It goes from somewhere and it ends at somewhere. And of course it doesn't have to be like only upwards or downwards. It can be like a journey, but it really depends on your style and the way you like to mix and combine songs. It really depends, but if the audience likes it, of course the most important thing is that you like it, because
Yeah.
if you don't like it, it doesn't like, people don't see it, people don't hear it the same.
Yeah, and it's easy like to, lost your voice when
Yeah.
you are doing things, because there will be pressures.
There will be, yeah.
And people will tell you that, hey, you did something different. I would like to listen more melodic
Yeah.
set from you. And like,
Yeah.
there's always people who would like to
Change something. Yeah.
So you can't please everyone.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can only please yourself. And
Yeah.
that's like the thing I always try to remember. Like,
Yeah.
you cannot please everyone.
Yeah, that's the most important part. But also sometimes the feedback are needed, and especially if something is not working, the feedback is really important. And then, even though you would feel a type of way about it yourself, maybe you should look inward and be like, is this working? Should I change something?
That's true. Like, feedback is always like warmly welcome.
Yeah.
And for example, I actually today my boyfriend were here and I was telling about my set for Genesis,
Yeah.
and he was like, maybe you should change a little. He was like telling me it's
Yeah.
good, like, because it's sometimes it's good to have feedback.
Yeah, it is. So you don't get
Especially if
blinded
you
by it.
are trying something different,
Yeah.
like, and working out some,
Yeah, something new. Yeah.
yeah.
And I use it actually quite a lot if I'm doing sets. And sometimes when you're trying this different, switch up from a song to another a million times, you're like, you get, blind to it. And sometimes I'm like, okay, do you have the time to look up a Snapchat, video? And I might send it to a few friends of mine who are like giving me honest feedback, like, is it good or is it not?
Yeah.
And if they're both like, nah, or if they're all like, nah, I don't know if this is good, then I'm like, okay, thank you for the feedback. And now I know that maybe I should change something.
Yeah, and like I have this that if there's one certain track that it's like really important to me and
Yeah.
it's like my favorite track ever, sometimes I can get stuck to the feeling that I need to, have it on
Include
the
it,
set,
yeah.
even though it would not, do a favor to the set.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes like you need to kill your darlings, they say.
Yeah, it's a
And that's
painful
hard.
one. Yeah.
And this is where the feedback is welcome, like, because you will get stuck with
Yeah.
the track,
Yeah.
but
Multiple times.
multiple times.
Yeah.
But other people will tell you that this is not
Yeah.
the track for the set.
Yeah, and
That's
I can remember
important.
from our back-to-back, we had multiple times that we had to kill our darlings.
Yeah.
multiple times. We were like,
times.
we really would like to include this, but we
Yeah,
can't.
yep.
It's just not fitting.
Yep. So remember this when you are doing sets.
Yeah.
But have you noticed what kind of mixes tend to perform best or get the most attention? Are there any patterns you've seen? What would you say?
Actually, about that topic, I'm not so sure of. It really depends on who you're kind of trying to push it out to. If you're, just trying to get some plays, I think networking is the most important. And of course, if most of the people listen to Raw, maybe you should do a Raw mixtape. But I think in the end, do your thing. Do what's best for you. Do what you feel the best about, because that's you. And even though people are gonna book you to the or your sound to the event, they're gonna book you. And if that sound is not you, it's gonna be showing at the stage.
Yeah, and it's like then you are faking it,
Yeah.
and it will not feel the same. Like,
Yeah.
because if you are trying to be something that you are not,
Yeah.
then it doesn't feel right, and
Yeah.
you will be anxious and everything.
Yeah, and there are always like trends going around, and it always depends on the crowd, on the place, on the vibe, on your mood.
Yep, your
It
mood.
really depends. Yeah.
It depends.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who is starting out with their own mixtapes? About branding, about promotion, anything?
Well, the first thing is that have a clear vision, have a really good idea, and try to make it even like, you can try to make it a like kind of journey, make it like part 1, 2, 3, 4, or it could be like part 1, the beginning, part 2, the ascendant, something like that. It could be a story like building, or it could be like following a path of this certain sound, or it could be like new music, which I did.
Yeah.
It's whatever fits you and whatever you like, and there's like millions of ways to kind of play the songs, to show yourself. You can do anything. Yeah.
How can new DJs discover and refine their own sound and identity through mixing? What would you say?
Well, practice, practice, practice. That's the most important part, just refine your skills. But I think, like, all in all, the biggest thing, of course, with the feedback or after the feedback would be to listen to other artists, listen to your friends, or listen to other, people that are doing these mixtapes, listen to their mixing, maybe even go and, if you're like having a, party at your place and you have, you can see what the DJ is doing, go and see what they're doing and have some jamming sessions, just like having multiple ideas from different artists, different DJs. They all kind of, even though if you wouldn't be doing them, they're gonna have a, memory thing in your head. You're gonna remember them at some point, then you're like, okay, maybe I can try this different way.
Yeah, and that's actually a good tip to go and see your favorite artists to play, how they play, because when I used to learn how to mix techno, when I was at the techno party, I always went to the front row and I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Really important.
Yeah, it's a good way. What is the secret of successful mixtapes in your opinion?
Well, depends on what you define as successful one, because if you're like looking for sky high numbers, maybe mixtapes aren't the thing, unless you already have a name. But I think the most important part is that you're happy with it yourself. And the thing that gets you the views and gets you the listening numbers is how you're networking. Once again, networking. If you're just doing your mixtapes, yeah, good. And if you like them, really good. But if you don't have anywhere to push it, if it's not your social media, if it's not a WhatsApp group, if it's not a Facebook, chat or something, you might not, especially the algorithms nowadays.
And remember that the numbers doesn't tell anything.
No.
Like they don't tell if people like it or not.
Yeah.
Because of the algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithm.
Pushes it or not.
Yeah, especially nowadays, let's just say like Instagram or something. Just like normal posts. They can be such that you don't get any amount of likes that you would like to get.
Yeah. And does it make it a bad post?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I've also heard that you are planning to rebrand your series. Could you tell us what is changing and why?
Yeah. So from the beginning, I was doing these Rawphoric sets, and especially the Melody of the Months. They were lasting really long, for a really long time, maybe 2 years, like monthly. I was pushing them out, and I was really happy with them. But at some point, when Raw started to, emerge more, and Raw started to become the kind of mainstream sound, like before that, maybe it was hardstyle and Raw was like up there. But then Raw really had this, emergence, and it really grew huge. And I noticed that Rawphoric isn't doing it that much anymore. And I also was lacking like in free time, especially meeting my girlfriend. Shout out Evita, see you.
Greetings!
Especially meeting my girlfriend, I really noticed that I don't have the same amount of time, like or free time to, especially if you want to make the mixes like well, and you want them to be like structured and follow a storyline or a certain way. You really need to, like building a set of anything, you really need to invest time in it. So I didn't have the time in building sets monthly anymore. So I needed to scrap the idea, and then I changed it to the seasonal idea, which was Ecstasy of Euphoria. And even before Ecstasy of Euphoria, I actually did these Rawphoric Essentials, which were like my pride and joy back then. I did these like seasonal highlights of Rawphoric hardstyle, melodic hardstyle that kind of, in my view, in my ears, sounded like, let's say, summery. This song sounds like summer. I put them all together, built them, a different way, and made them a combination, and they were really lovely. They were like, I think, my best listening. They had the best listening numbers.
What about your new brand?
Well, nowadays when I've been mixing the euphoric style for multiple years, it's because it focuses so much on the melodies, so much on the vibes. You cannot do anything fancy, or at least not much fancy, mixing work
It
with
gives
it.
it like a some certain what is ehto?
Kind of, how would you describe it?
Rules?
Well, yeah, I don't know if they have rules, but
No,
like
no rules, not rules, but ehto.
yeah, ehto. Yeah, but kind of the vibe goes a bit off if the mixing is maybe too fast or a certain way, or it's not like smooth, because the music is smooth, the music
Yeah.
is beautiful. If you're doing like really hard transitions or it has rough edges, the kind of vibe goes down a bit. So what was the question again?
Your new brand.
Yeah, new brand. So after getting kind of bored with the euphoric side, especially mixing wise, when I started to, practice mixing more,
Yeah.
and I was like, of course, it's nice to listen to it, but I don't get the same hype
Yeah.
and have the same passion playing it if it's not like something that gets me forward as a DJ. So I wanted to evolve my sound a bit, and nowadays actually had this conversation in my stories for a while ago that I'm trying something new, and I'm still keeping the melodies alive, but I'm changing to this. It's actually a melodic rebellion, the next series, and it's still about
Nice.
melodies. It's still about euphoric. It has euphoric, melodic hardstyle, melodic raw style, rawphoric. Might even be something more that, but it's like it's genre free. It's not like kind of close to a really thin gap of what to play. It can vary, and it's more like building a story or building a. I really want to focus on building a good set
Yeah.
and building a kind of story that has a direct end and beginning.
Yeah. When will the first one come out? Do you already know a date?
I already have like one. Actually, this one that I'm playing today is like giving you hints about it.
Whoop whoop.
Then I'm also planning on putting one, maybe guest mix, X mix out there. Maybe going to be played at some point, and I'm going to be putting one out in the near months. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, indeed. But now we are going to move to the new music because nothing beats the feeling of hearing your favorite track for the first time, right? That's the best feeling. So, how do you personally discover fresh tracks?
Well, for me, I think because I have Spotify, it all depends on what platform you use. You might use YouTube, you might use Apple Music, but for me, I know about Spotify. Of course, you have YouTube, you have the euphoric hardstyles, which collects all the smallest artists to one place when you can listen to them, and that's a way if you want to be in YouTube and finding these. If there are other platforms or other channels that are doing the same thing as euphoric hardstyles,
Yeah.
because that's a really good way of finding it.
Yep.
But in Spotify, I actually do this. It's kind of easy, but some people think it's a lot of work.
Okay.
But because in Spotify you have these artist profiles.
Yep.
You can go there and you can press follow.
Yep.
And I have done it with every single artist that I listen to. Every time I hear a new artist, I'm like, okay, profile, follow. Even though if it's not like anything special, if it's like, okay, interesting, I
Yeah.
press follow.
Follow.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be hardstyle, it can be something else. But that's a tip for me or from me to you, because I think that's really easy. Because once there's new music, you can go to the up left, press the music button, and then new releases, and then it gives you the entire list of the songs.
Is this the same than Release Radar?
Release Radar is also one of my hints about the thing. It was more active, especially in the Corona times.
Yeah.
They had these different playlists, and they really got everything of hardstyle under those lists. But I think they've died down a bit. I've still went there sometimes and found something new, but they're a bit inactive or they're
Yeah.
a bit behind on schedule. But if you want to be like really on schedule, if it's like 5 past midnight, Spotify will show you everything that's, you know, released that day. So it's really easy, at least for me. You all have your own ways, but for me it's really easy to get them all in one place and just, you know, add them to my queue, and that's it.
When you are listening out the new tracks, how much time does it take within 1 week?
Within 1 week, let's say today I listened to the new releases of Thursday. It took me about, actually I'm still listening to them because there are some, you know, maybe albums or such. The normal for Thursday and Friday is like 2 hours. And I'd say the least amount of releases are in the Monday, Tuesday area. And it's like the further you go in the week from Wednesday to Friday, the more there are releases. Usually it's the Thursday or Friday, which is the main day for releases. Nowadays, I think it's more Thursday, but also Friday is a huge release day. So let's say Friday, Thursday usually can take about 2 hours per day to listen, or to only listen to new songs. Plus you add the 3 days to it, that might be another 2 hours. So 5 to 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours is my, you know, usual weekly crate digging session. And of course you can cut the time a bit if you like listen to some song and you're like, okay, this is not it. If I'm like halfway through and it's nothing special, I might skip it. But usually I try to listen to it entirely.
So this was my next question. What are the things you are paying attention to when listening to a track for the first time? Because I've heard that some people are like very fast. They decide very fast and they're like super picky. If like they're like, they give it 2 seconds and they're like, I don't like it. Next. So do you really listen to them like completely?
Depends on the song. If I really need to like give myself time, because I'm really lenient on if I put it on my playlist or not. Some people are much more picky, and I've gotten some, you know, stick for it that I'm too lenient. I'm like, if this is okay, I'm adding it to the playlist because I might want to listen to it sometime. Because that's my like mentality. If I might want to listen to it someday, better add it to the list than, and you know, maybe delete it some day later. Than to start to try and find it manually afterwards, because that's easier for me. But really depends on the song, the genre and such. But maybe halfway through, if there's nothing special, or if the genre is such that I need to listen to it completely, then I do need to listen to it completely. But let's say like no flame on Frenchcore or uptempo, but sometimes they're really repetitive, even though I listen to them too. And then if it's like halfway through, nothing special, and the kicks are really like the normal, I might be like, okay, next one. But I'm not a picky one. I give them really much time, and it all depends on the genre. Sometimes I need to listen to it till the end because the ending might be the best, or then I get the gist of it in the halfway point already.
What about other platforms to, you know, dig new music? You said you use Spotify, but are there other platforms like labels, mixtape series, or lesser known sources you follow?
Well, in SoundCloud, I have been listening to Progressive Hardstyles, the mixes. I don't know if they're actually active anymore. They had them active at some point, and there I could listen to some, you know, newer unreleased stuff. But usually it's like YouTube for like searching the smaller ones that might not even be like in Spotify yet. But really varies. I'm not listening. I don't have the time anymore to listen to maybe some, you know, artist sets from, you know, festivals or such, which I did in the past, and that's also a great way to find new music, especially, you know, during the beginning of the festival season. But it really depends on what you like to listen and where.
But just Google out what you like, and then you will, or ask ChatGPT.
But
like you can say, I like this artist. Do you have any recommendations? Maybe it could give some.
That's future, I guess. But maybe just, you know, follow the labels, follow the artists. The labels usually give you pretty good like heads ups about new releases. That's good. And, you know, checking their stories and such. If you're not in social media, it's a bit more tricky, but maybe then go to, you know, gigs and have a Shazam open or something. I don't know.
That's true.
But social media is a huge one, and finding a place that fits you, that, you know, where you can find stuff, that's the most important one.
Do you have any final advice you would like to share to upcoming DJs who are trying to build a career in today's scene?
Well, patience is key,
Yeah.
and trust in yourself. It's gonna take time. It's gonna be long until you get booked for the first time. You're gonna have to push yourself. And the most important one that we already talked about, network. Have a network where you can push your sound, your mixtapes. Maybe you can push and ask for gigs. Try to find open mic nights. What are the open decks?
Yeah.
Wherever you can, and just have fun with it and show your true character with it. I think that's good.
Those are really good advices. Yeah. Before we wrap up, what are your plans for the future?
Well, I am trying to get the Melodic Rebellion started really well. I also have a side project going on, which might be sooner than you think.
Woohoo!
You might hear from it on my socials really soon, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
And also, I've been saying to myself for quite some time, but also trying to make some music at some point.
I'm looking forward to hearing your tracks. And now for the last question. Are you ready?
Yep.
It's from my grandma. Yeah, let's see what my grandma wants to ask.
I would like to ask you, what makes this music special to you?
So what makes this music special to you?
What makes this music special to me? Well, of course, the sound is special if you are in the scene.
Yep.
But the people, I think every guest or every person that has been asked this is always saying the same thing. Because whether you listen to rock or techno or whatever, I think the scene, the people in it, it's just so, welcoming and, warm. And the feeling around it. You can be yourself. You don't have to be anything else. You can just be there, dance your worries away, enjoy the moment. It's really beautiful.
Gotta love this scene.
Yeah, and the people.
But now is your time to sign. Are you ready? Because you will be now blasting your sound in a 30-minute guest mix.
All right.
What are you going to play today to us?
We are going to be playing some Rawphoric, some melodic hardstyle, melodic raw style, Rawphoric. It's not gonna be that raw, but it's going to be in the way of my new Melodic Rebellion series. So expect some beautiful melodies, some raw kicks and good energy.
Sounds really good. We will be back in a minute, but remember, now is also your chance to ask questions from Alex. I will ask them later on Instagram. You already know how it goes, fast questions with aggressive aesthetic. But remember to put questions. We will be back in a minute. Don't go anywhere. Tell them.
See you guys soon.
See you, don't go!
The rhythm.
What you need is the heat of the summer. Lost your mind, need the light to recover. I swear we're headed on to better days, and the sun will come up again. What you need is the heat of the summer. Put your fight your battles, always by yourself. In the shadows, hear you cry for help. No matter the distance, I will always be there. No more inhibitions, I'll show you again. You've been lost and alone in the city lights at night. Getting high, feeling low, and it's out of your control. I'm next to you. I'm next to you. You should know that I won't leave you. I'll stay beside you. I'm never letting you go. You've been lost and alone in the city lights at night. But I will guide you You've been lost and alone in the city lights at night. Getting high, feeling low, and it's out of your control. When you're lost and out of time, I will do my best to listen. I try to read between your lines. Won't you tell me what you're thinking about? 'Cause I feel your shadows in the middle of the night, and I need you to know I'm next to you. I'm next to you.
Need to find a way out the door. I really need you to be my guiding star.
My remedy, need to find a way out the door. My remedy, need you to be my guiding star. My remedy. Need to find a way out the door.
Wow, that was truly something else. How are you feeling?
I'm really excited. This was super nice to play. Super lovely songs. As you can maybe see, I fucking love them. Sorry for swearing, but amazing.
Amazing. You
Also, shout out to Adrenalas. Forgot to mention him in the top three right now.
Hey, amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
That was amazing. It was really, really nice to hear thoughts. Great tips. Now you can have your everyday as New Music Friday.
Yeah.
And
have a blast at home. With your own set.
Always party at
Yeah,
home with
yeah.
new, fresh tracks.
Especially.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming to the stream today and being with us. Please remember to follow Alex on Instagram. You can find him aggressive_aesthetic.
Yes.
Yes. We wish you all the best to your career.
Thank you. Likewise.
We wish. Thank you. Please remember to subscribe to this channel and follow Miia Solar on social media to stay up to date what's happening next. Next time, we are going to have a local legend here who will reveal his story and share the secret to a long-lasting career. This was Harder Styles with Miia Solar. Good night. See you next time.
Good night. See you next time. Applause for her. Thank you.
Applause for you too. Good
Thank
night.
you.